Every morning I wake up praying that Claude and Ray died in their sleep. And every morning, you all disappoint me. Sorry, boss. Two of you have 15 minutes. Clear out your locker. You're both being transferred over to the governor's mansion. I, for one, won't miss you a bit. Well. Yo! Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Ken's TV and the House Light Kitchen Sinks. Now, before I get into this evening's story, if you will, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better, meaning that anytime I drop a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, as we so often don't. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Perhaps you're trying to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to or viewing this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true. Keyword being true. Penitentiary / life story / life experience. If you prefer your 8 to 12 to 15-minute videos, kudos to you. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at Real Ken's TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, with all that wrapped up into one big old nutshell, there is a message. You know, I often reiterate how dangerous prison really is. You know, you're around a bunch of individuals that you don't know. A bunch of individuals that subject to just bloop out at any given moment, any given time. You get some bad news on the phone. You check the mail list and your name's not on the mail list. You're expecting that visit and your visit doesn't show up. All of these things play a role in prison as far as the way that inmates tend to act. Now you got two individuals. You got Grundy. Grundy's a white guy. Grundy's about, I don't know, Grundy's probably, he's about 6'1", 6'6'1". I know what you all thought that I was going to say. You all thought that I was going to say Grundy was 5'11". No, Grundy's about 6', 6'1". He didn't have much family on the streets, man. You know, he real cool white dude, man. I would say Grundy probably weighed a good, probably 230, 235. Didn't really work out or anything like that. And he didn't have much. Like I said, he didn't really have family support on the streets. Grundy was the dorm janitor. Dorm janitor, man, you know, some guys, man, they'll just do a job just to, you know, get the job done, and then they can go out on the rec yard and go do whatever they want to do. But Grundy wasn't one of those type of individuals. Grundy was, took pride in his job, man. I done seen dudes get their wig split for not doing certain things or not cleaning up after themselves after, you know, the dorm janitor has already, you know, put in all that work, all that sweat, all that, you know. I've seen dudes get their wig split over that. Like I said, Grundy, he was far from violent, but he took pride in everything he did. I don't care if he was sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, cleaning the showers out. He's going to do the best job that he could possibly do, man. Now, Grundy, being that he didn't have any family support coming in, guess what? You got to do what you got to do to eat in prison, man. You know, within reason, you know, have some integrity about it. And so Grundy, he would wash out bowls. He would cook for you. He would prep your food, because a lot of times when you go to the commissary, you might get onions or peppers, or if you're making something that needs to be sliced and diced, you don't feel like doing that. Hey, Grundy. Grundy was a jack of all trades as far as when it came to, you know, making that money, man. And people respected his hustle so much, we would often throw him extra just on the strength. That's what we call it down here, on the strength, man. You know, street lingo, Urban Dictionary. Grundy would even wash out clothes. Now, he didn't do boxers or anything like that, but he'd do your socks. He'd do your sweat. Because in prison, you can have gray sweatsuits. Can't have your own clothes in Kentucky, but you can have these gray sweatsuits. Shorts. Grundy will wash all of that out, because you don't want to sit. T-shirts. He going to bleach it. He's going to make it come all the way back. Cocaine white, man. That's how your T-shirt's going to look when Grundy gets done with it. Your wife beater. So you don't want to send that stuff down the laundry, because that stuff often gets stolen. Come on, Ken, start the story. I've already started the story. See, a lot of y'all just want me to go right into the meat, pause, double pause, triple pause of the story, not even understanding that painting a picture is starting the story. You all need to visualize this. Like I said, Grundy, man, didn't bother nobody. Everybody loved him, man. Then you got, excuse me. You have the individual that I guess is kind of opposite of Grundy. You got Big Pizzy. Big Pizzy was about 6'2", 6'3", light-skinned, bald-head dude, golds at the bottom. He had a body. He had a body under his belt. So he was doing like 15. He had to do 85%. He caught the case at a young age at like 19, 20 years old. Now, Big Pizzy was actually at the end of his sentence. This was so unique about this situation. He was at the end of his sentence. On a 15-year sentence at 85%, I think he had already done like 12. So he was literally about to go home. He had one of those jobs where he worked out. There's a horse program. You can work in the horse program. Basically, you learn how to work with horses. Every day he would come back in the dorm. He would have his boots on from being outside in the mud and in the dirt all day long. So he would track dirt in the dorm. As I mentioned, Big Pizzy about 6'2", 6'3". He weighing in at, he's a good 225 himself. Chiseled, man. He's chiseled. Big Pizzy had a tendency to try to bully people from time to time. You know, like when they would have the basketball tournaments, depending on who they were playing, he tries to play bully ball. You see a whole lot of that in the penitentiary. Using his size, just trying to intimidate people. I done seen him slap a couple dudes. I ain't never really seen him use his hands, but I done seen him slap a couple dudes and use his, but it's only certain people. There's only certain people that he would even remotely attempt to do that to. Big Pizzy comes into the dorm one day, and Grundy had just finished, mopping or whatever. He looks up. There's dirt everywhere. Now, Big Pizzy is already not Big Pizzy, but Grundy is already aware who's doing this because he knows who works on the horse farm. He doesn't say anything. You know what, man? I'm gonna clean it up. He goes back and he cleans it up. Shoot, I wouldn't have cleaned up nothing. But see, the thing about it is this: when you're a dorm janitor, they come in and they do inspections to make sure, like the whoever's over the unit, they'll come through and depending on who's working that day, they'll come through and do inspections. And if the dorm isn't looking up to par, you're subject to get a write-up. I know that's crazy because once you clean up, you know what I mean? Like, you clean up, it shouldn't be anything else after that. But nevertheless, that's just how they operate. And so he went ahead and cleaned it up, didn't say a word, didn't look at him, didn't look at Big Pizzy crazy or anything. A few days later, same exact scenario happens, man. Grundy had just finished cleaning up. He was, getting his hustle on, washing his clothes or whatever he was doing. Big Pizzy comes in, dirt all on the floor once again. Grundy's really agitated at this point. Now, mind you, remember I said Grundy was a dude that was just laid back, didn't bother nobody. Everybody in the dorm loved him. That's all you would hear. Grundy. Man, Grundy had so much work. He often couldn't get to your clothes because everybody else was, already hired him, to say the least. Y'all rock with me, man. Jump in that comment section. Let me know what city and state you represent. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, man. Jump in the comment section. Let me know what set, what hood you represent. Grundy's very, very, very agitated at this point. Big Pizzy's a big dude, man, but Grundy, he don't care anything about that. Now, he's not one of the guys that's gonna go around just talking about what he's gonna do, but in his mind, he knows what he ultimately wants to do. Grundy was close to getting out just as well, but he didn't really care about getting out. I know. Man, you got to be crazy not to want to get out of prison, man. You got to be. But if you're coming out to nothing, nobody, Grundy wasn't even an old dude. Grundy was probably maybe 30, 31. But yet he didn't have anybody out here on these streets, man. Prison kept him busy, all of the extracurricular activities he was doing as far as cleaning and things like that. It kept him busy. Kept food kept the locker full of food. Only problem is Grundy liked to gamble. He liked to frequent the poker table. But if he lost, guess what? He could make it back just like that. So Grundy was living, somewhat comfortable inside, especially from an individual that wasn't getting anything whatsoever. Second time occurs, man. Grundy steaming. Steaming Willie Beeman. Willie Beeman! I forgot the song. I keep him creaming. And all the fellas. He's furious. He really wants to say something. He talks to a couple people. They kind of talk him off the ledge. He doesn't say anything. The next time he does it, man, it's going to be a problem. A few more days go past. The same thing happens again. Big Pizzy comes in from work. Dirt out on the floor. Grundy calls him out. Hey, bro. This is the third time this week, or within the last week and a half or so, that you done came in, into the dorm, man, tracking all this dirt. You know that I'm the dorm janitor. You know that I have to clean this up. So I feel as though you kind of undermining me to a certain extent. I feel as though you're disrespecting me, man. I don't got no problems with you other than what you're doing as far as tracking dirt into the dorm. I've already told you all Big Pizzy was somewhat of the bullying type. When it came to certain people, he's looking at Grundy like, oh man, this dude ain't nothing. Big Pizzy tells him, well, shoot, man, where I'm from, man, if you don't like it, you do something. Use your options. And never will forget, that's exactly what he told him. Where I'm from, if you don't like something, you do something about it. Use your options. Grundy just kind of looked at him. Listen, man, I don't want no trouble with you. Nah, man, it's already up. You done approached me on some, so, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming in from work. I can't help it when I come in and I got dirt on my boots, man. You know what I'm saying? But the way that you came at me or whatever, Grundy's like, nah, I came at you respectfully, man. Just asked you to kind of, like I told you, man. You don't like it, do something about it. I'm done talking. He gets loud. Grundy wasn't even loud. Big Pizzy gets loud or whatever. Dorm's looking. But nobody's looking at it like, oh man, he just punked Grundy out. Nah, nobody looked at it like that because it was one of those situations to where, come on, man, why you messing with Grundy, man? Out of all people, why do you gotta talk this way to Grundy? Grundy don't bother nobody, man. Grundy don't say a word. After that, conversation's over. Like Big Pizzy said, conversation's over. I'm done talking. Probably about 15, 20 minutes later, Big Pizzy, he goes in, handling his business. He got to use the bathroom. He got to use the bathroom. Then he takes his, because you could always tell, like, when somebody's going to get in the shower, because, like, in prison, you carry your shower stuff. A lot of times you just see dudes with they towel and they washcloth or whatever, and they'll have it on a hanger. See what I'm saying? They'll have it on a hanger, and they'll go in and hang it up on the rack. Sometimes you take your chair in there so you can sit your hygiene items in your chair. Yeah, penitentiary, dumb shit. But that's how it works in there. Big Pizzy sitting on the toilet, man. Use the bathroom or whatever. Now, before he sits down on the toilet, and I have to give you all these details, these detailed details. He's lacing the toilet, put the toilet paper on the toilet, make sure everything's sprayed down or whatever. Now, the bathroom's already clean. Grundy done an excellent job, but still, you don't ride chrome, man. That's what you call riding chrome. Ain't nobody riding chrome. Oh, you got some dudes that ride chrome. But nah, man, you got to lace that toilet, man. Reason I say ride chrome is because a lot of times in jail and in prison, the toilets are chrome. So when you see a dude that's, they ain't laced the toilet, dang, bro, you riding chrome like that, man? That's sickening. But you got a lot of people that do it. He's sitting down on the toilet. Grundy's cleaning up the mess once again. Big Pizzy made. The industrial yellow mop buckets. Kind you see in, most businesses. And it has the mop wringer on it. Take the mop out and put it in the wringer. You push down on the, the little knob, the black thing. Push down like on the black stick or whatever. Wrings the water out. The bathroom's an open space, so like you are literally using the bathroom right. Like if you're using the restroom, you're, I don't know, 3 feet away from the next individual. Sometimes you may be in a facility that has walls that separate you all, but they're small walls. Sometimes you just, everything's out in the open, man. You might grab a trash can and put it in front of you, try to have some dignity. But that's just the way the prison goes. Grundy's doing this thing, cleaning up or whatever. I guess Big Pizzy thought that, everything was sweet. He thought everything was good, man. Sitting on the toilet, he reading his little magazine or whatever. Got his headphones in, he ain't paying no attention whatsoever. Man, Grundy grabs that mop wringer. Second time I seen somebody or heard of somebody getting split with a mop wringer. Because the mop wringer comes right off the bucket, the yellow bucket. He took his son, bitch. He's already sitting down. Like I said, Grundy about 6'1". Boom! Dude never seen it coming, man. Split his wig. Split him. Like I said, he's bald head, so the first lick drew blood. I don't even see how dude was even still conscious. Hey, a big dude been lifting weights for 12 years straight, man. Stays in shape. Seems awfully angry and aggressive. So Grundy, you better make this count. I'm not an advocate for violence. But in this particular situation, when you're doing that, you better make this count. Because if this big dude is able to get up from this, it's your body. My body all over your body, babe. Your body all over my body. It's your body, man. Grundy made it count. Split scene. I don't know if y'all ever been hit with a mop wringer. I haven't, and I'm going to find some wood to knock on. I would imagine that it's not the best feeling in the world to get split with a mop wringer. Hits him again. Boom! Grundy's not saying a word. He's just going to work. He's going to town. So, obviously you trying to cover up, Big Pizzy's trying to cover up or whatever, trying to cover his head up, his face. There's no holds barred. I guess Grundy feel like, shoot, I done hit you once, I might as well keep going. Hit him several more times. Boom, but he's covering his face up, but he's catching him all in his shoulder, his neck, he just wherever. He just hitting him. Officer sees what's going on. Officers can see pretty much everything that's going on, even in the bathrooms. It don't matter if it's a female officer, it doesn't matter. They can literally see, because they have the tent. So they have a tent to where they can see in, but you can't really see out. You might see a shadow, a silhouette or something like that, but they can blatantly see what's going on. Officer runs in. Forget what dorm we was in. I think A1. We'll just call it dorm A1. Signal 7, man. They had to hit him with a signal 7, man. You got somebody who's getting split. Signal 7 just means, for y'all that don't know, they're bringing all the officers that's close by, all the officers that are available. They need to get here and get here quick. Immediately. Signal 7 in Unit A1. Signal 7 in Unit A1. That means drop what you're doing. Because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny, huh? Call that Signal 7, man. You know that it's not good. Signal 7 in A1. You can hear the distress in the officer's voice. Signal 7 in Unit A1. Officers run in. Grundy's still beating the dude. He's beating him. Now they're gonna come in with their tasers. They're gonna come in with the, with the bear spray that they walk around. But they know Grundy typically don't bother nobody, so they don't just come right in and spray him. A lot of times they're gonna spray you anyway, even if you stop. They'll still spray you. They get a kick out of that. Grundy puts the weapon down, because that's what that was. Mop handles a weapon. Quite sure you all can imagine the scenery. Big Pizzy's halfway out of it. He's laid up against the wall. Blood everywhere. He on the toilet. Using the bathroom. Excuse me. It wasn't the best scene. Wasn't the best scene in the world. Lock Grundy up, take him to the hole, go get his property. They bring in a big black trash bag. That's how they do in prison. Pack all your property up. He goes to the hole. Grundy goes to the hole. Big Pizzy, they end up having to take him to the hospital, man. He suffered, some severe injuries right there. Split with a mop ringer. And dude's catching you with like, he could have unalived him. Going to the hospital. Never seen Scott again after that point. Yeah, you hear certain things, but you hear, oh man, he's on life support. Oh man, he had to have reconstructive surgery. But whatever the case may be, he got messed up. See, Big Pizzy, man, I guess he really thought that because Grundy was quiet, because Grundy didn't say much, because Grundy let it go a couple times, I guess he really thought that he could somewhat bully him. Grundy had enough. Although Grundy never complained, he never really cried about anything. Just think about this, man. Think about this. You locked up in prison. Now, I failed to mention this earlier. Grundy had 2 kids, but the young lady that he had the kids by, she had moved on with another man. Had the kids calling the other man daddy. Wouldn't correspond with Grundy. Wouldn't bring the kids to come and see Grundy. Got to the point to where he lost total contact with him. Changed the number. Didn't allow the kids to write anything. Grundy don't feel like he really has much going on out here. Could have been one of those days to where he just feel like, you know what, today's the day, man. Today is the day that somebody can get me today, man. I don't want to do anything to anybody, but, you're not going to just sit up here and just disrespect me over and over and over again. Because if I don't say nothing now, then tomorrow you're going to come in and do it. Then the next day, then other people are going to start to do it. Perhaps that was what was on Grundy's mind that particular day. I don't know. But it's one thing for certain, there's 2 things for sure. He was done talking. So while Big Pizzy was talking about conversation over, yeah, conversation's over for now. You right. You got that, big dog. My nigga. You got that. Conversation was over. We done talking about it. Now it's time to be about it. They send Grundy's custody level obviously goes up. He gets a boatload of time in the hole. They gave him 6 months in the hole. On top of that, they filed charges against him. Commonwealth state doesn't need an actual individual to make a complaint. The Commonwealth can pick the charges up and file charges against you. Now here it is, he's already in prison. Violent stuff happens in prison, man. I'm not sitting here saying that, it's okay to do things like that to people. But a lot of times people done brought it on, they done brought that on themselves. They pressing charges against Grundy. He's going to outside court, man. Literally having to go to outside court. They're offering him 5 years at 85%, which I have, but typically, once you catch 85%, you're going to get a minimum of 10. A minimum, because it's first degree assault and it carries 10 to 20. So I don't know how some people are able to get 5 years at 85%. But nevertheless, that's what they was offering him. Actually, it was 10 initially. They came all the way down to 5. Means I got to do another 4 years and 3 months in here. I can't take that. We got to go to trial with this. Problem is, go to trial with what? You got illegal aid. You don't have no money, don't have no family support. You split a dude that they're going to say he was on the toilet and he was helpless. Whatever your issue was with him, Could have been that bad. This is how they're going to look at it. So you don't really have a leg to stand on. Why you saying you're not going to take the 5 years? Ultimately, Grundy had to, bite the bullet, take that 5-year plea deal. Right when he was supposed to go home. I think he still had a couple more months left. Nothing significant. He's ready to go home. In the meanwhile, wherever Big Pizzy got sent to, he done healed up and he's been released. Not sure if he tried to sue the prison. I don't know, what grounds he would sue the prison on for getting his wig split. But nevertheless, he got released. This is the crazy thing about it, man. I ran into Grundy. And I asked him, what's up, Grundy? It wasn't the first topic. It wasn't the first thing we talked about. But it came up. I was like, yeah, man, I remember you split dude, man. Now, this wasn't even that long ago. Maybe 7 years ago. Grundy went on to tell me, he said, listen, man, let me tell you about what he did. What are you talking about? Big Pizzy? He was like, yeah, let me tell you what he did. This fool showed up to every court date. He didn't miss a court date. I said, are you lying, man, for real? He said, dude didn't miss a court date. Turn state's evidence on you. You're going to testify against me. So hold on, let me get this straight. Big Bad Wolf. The Big Bad Wolf. 6'2", 6'3" gorilla. Look like a straight action figure. Been locked up, 12 years, 12 and a half years. In here for unaliving somebody. The Big Bad Wolf that comes stomping through the yard, man, I done seen him just slap dudes. Talk crazy to people so bad to where they probably felt like they got slapped. And as soon as he has to take one on the chin, as soon as he takes an L, he works with them people. He's like, man, I can show you my transcripts. I can show you this dude came to every court date and he was going to get on the stands and testify against me. So I ended up having to take that 5. And that's what it was. You got a lot of people that always talk about loyalty. You hear these rappers. You hear these street dudes, the thugs. Everybody talks about how real they are, man. Everybody talks about they're going to keep it 100. Everybody talks about if they catch a case, man, I'm going to just lay down and do mine. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. But for most, when you're in that situation and them people's telling you, like, look, man, either you going to work with us and don't let you have some very, very, very valid information or valuable information to where they say, hey, give us this and you can go home. I don't think that happens as often as people try to portray, because a person will tell you, man, I could have walked out. Man, they don't come at you like that. They may ask you want to help us out? But that whole tell us this today and you can walk home, but that doesn't work with everybody. It's only a select few, so you don't got nothing to give the people anyway. Everybody's so real. Everybody? So if that's the case, why you got so many people that are in prison right now based upon statements that people have made and signed against them, since everybody's so real? There's no loyalty. It doesn't exist anymore. You get caught up, you trying to figure out how you can get home. You don't want your baby's mama out here with different dudes and she's doing this and she's doing that, and you sitting in there for 15, 20 years. I had a dude straight up tell me one time, and this dude, man, he was a notorious dealer, man. Made big money. Told me, man. It's crazy the things that people will tell you when they're vulnerable. The things that people will tell you when they're in a situation and they really allow you to know who they are. Dude told me straight up, man, they don't even want me. They don't even want me like that. I asked dude, man, I shot him a kite, told him to pay for my lawyer because I know he got it. He ignored it. He didn't even get back with me. This is dude talking. Well, shit, I'm going to do what I got to do, man. Why should I go down for somebody else that they don't want? See, now you're trying to justify snitching. You're trying to justify snitching. Talk yourself into it to make it seem like it's not that bad. I'm sure they wanted you too, bro. Maybe not as bad as they wanted the other individual, but I'm quite sure that they wanted you as well. I can't believe Big Pizzy did that, man. I just never would have imagined that he would have showed up to court like that. Especially you already home. You out. Let that shit stay in the penitentiary, man. You was wrong anyway for what you was doing. Grundy split that boy, man. Split his wig. Big Pizzy better hope that he never goes back to prison. Because if he does, and word travels and word gets around, man, you was gonna take the stands. So you got certain people that don't give a damn about size. They don't, man. Dudes got them, you know what I mean? Them your digs. That's what we call them over here. The sword of justice, we call them, they got them your digs. And they'll put something in you. Care nothing about you being 6'2", 6'3", 235, 240. You lifting 360 on the bench. Nobody care nothing about that. I got this steel, though. I got this steel for your ass. I'm gonna give a shout out to Grundy, man. Grundy's doing well. Got him a little job, got him a car, got his kids back in his life, got a new girlfriend, then had 2 more kids with her. Staying out of the way, staying out of the streets, staying out of trouble. I'm gonna give a shout out to Grundy, man. I told him about my YouTube channel, so hopefully he sees this. Hell, I may be able to even interview him one day. I don't know. There's a whole lot of Big Pizzies in the penitentiary. There's a whole lot of Big Pizzies in the world. The world, Craig. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't think that just because a person is kind of soft-spoken, don't say a lot, maybe they'll allow a couple things to kind of slide, and just because they're trying to do the right thing and they don't want any sort of controversy or, trouble, what have you, that doesn't mean that an individual is soft by any stretch of the imagination. And that's what oftentimes happens. Oh, man, he's soft, man. He ain't doing nothing, man. He ain't gonna say nothing. And next thing you know, you getting your wig split. Next thing you know, you sitting on the toilet and you having somebody go upside your head with a mop wringer, man. Treat people with respect, man. In prison, you have some of the most respectful conversations, the most respectful individuals. You come around and you need to ask somebody something and they in a conversation, hey, excuse me, brother, I ain't mean to interrupt your conversation, man. I just needed to ask you, is there any way, man, you can hand me that mop out of the mop closet? Appreciate you. That's the type of respect that people show in prison. Hey, excuse me, brother, I ain't mean to interrupt you, but does anyone have next on the phone? Hey, excuse me, brother. That's how people talk to each other in the pen, man. Now, everybody obviously don't do that. Friends, they gonna joke and laugh and argue, go back and forth. Bitch ass nigga, go ahead on, but that's just some friendly, you know what I mean? But when it comes down to the serious part of it, excuse me, brother. Big Pizzy definitely didn't expect what he got. Hopefully it woke him up. Hopefully that size, hopefully that experience that he had to endure, that he forced upon himself, could have been an eye-opener. A lot of times dudes go to prison and they get so big, people already think that when you come home, you was in there fighting for your life and you was a barbarian and you was throwing people through and it's not like that. But a lot of people think that. Now they look at you And they looking at your size. You got these tattoos. You got these goals in your mouth. And you just, man, this dude's a real live warrior, man. Not to say that he's not. Not to say that, you know, a person can't be a real live warrior. This person's a warrior, man. Whatever the case may be, Big Pizzy definitely wasn't a warrior that day. He was the recipient of the other end of the spectrum. He got his ass whooped. Real Kids TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification so anytime I bring you this action and this mop ring of heat, you're amongst the first to receive. Real Kids TV, man.